Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 23rd of September. So, well, the euro continues in this chop zone really. It's really has become quite a chop zone. It's sitting at the moment a day up, a day down. Should it be a day up today where it has got the weekly pivot rather above, which could become a draw, but it does look quite bearish as we're looking at the market at the moment. Particularly from this hourly picture now, the daily pivot and the weekly pivot I should say, but are both above price level. So just need to watch post 8 o'clock what actually happens here and how it shapes up. It's not unusual to see a bit of an odd 7 o'clock bar which throws us a little bit, so it is a case of being patient and waiting. If it starts turning around post 8 o'clock, well, there's some near-term targets, not very big targets I may add. They may in turn provide an area to sell into. I'm still in the big picture, I'm pretty much bearish on the euros, so I like the idea of them pulling back to those levels. It may be post 8 o'clock it just rolls over, in which case I'd be looking for those the sort of lows right back into Friday's low really, and maybe a bit more. It may run down towards its S1, but at a slightly bigger day than we've seen on Friday than of late. But we'll see how it rolls, but could be rolling back down towards that daily S1. The pound, let's have a look at the pound. The pound, well, with the Labour meetings going on over here, people will be totally confused because they only confuse people even more. The leader sits on the fence and everyone else argues about underneath him. So on that note, well, the pound, well, not that I think they'll have too much say of power at the moment, but the pound is also looking a bit soft on here. It's first test of the 50 properly, so again, as much as it looks like it may have further downside here, it's through its weekly pivot there. If it could roll down towards the S1, the prior highs here in this sort of area. Wouldn't be out of place. Looking at it in the shorter term here on this 60-minute chart, as I said, it's sold off at the moment, looking soft. Maybe it will find some support into its 60-minute 200. If it does, that in itself may be a turning point. So again, for me, it's just a matter of waiting post 8 o'clock. Looking elsewhere on this, and the sort of the key things here, it has on this 60-minute chart, the trend lines on there. In fact, it's broken those trend lines. Even if I put the revised trend line that would have been running across there, it's eventually broken, pulled back, tested the underside of that and rolled. So at the moment it looks pretty soft, and we could see some further downside in the near term. Longer term, I still expect this to be bouncing a little bit more unless there's something like a no deal that comes through. But for now, it's a case of just waiting patiently this morning a little bit, see what happens. As I said, for me, if it found support on that 200, now we're into the 8 o'clock zone, I could be interested in playing back towards that pivot. Dollar yen. Dollar yen, well, it's come out on the time frames here. Strengthened up through on Friday there. Today, well, continues seeing a bit of it. I'm just looking for a bounce and the potential of a bounce on the yen. At the moment, no, it's really completely well mirrored the pound effectively a bit more here. It's more than anything else, I guess, and we'd normally expect it to be completely reversed, but there we are. There's money running to safety. The discussions on deals in China not helping the case, but it has got its weekly pivot above, maybe drawn up to that. There's very few points in that. It's about 6 points back up there. One thing to look at in the yen is the ranges have tightened down quite considerably, and again, I think as we're leading through into 8 o'clock and beyond, we'll see what happens. A break of the sort of 60-minute 50, that sort of area, well, may see a push back up towards Friday's highs and beyond. It's a difficult one at the moment, but I remain edging on the more bearish side on the yen. Aussie dollar, although the short term on the yen, I should say, is looking a little bit more bearish, but for the US dollar. Aussie dollar, well, that's continued through last week, run right the way back down towards its monthly pivot there. Has got the weekly pivot above, which could create some more of a draw this morning, maybe. We'll see how it starts the London European sessions. But if it pushes up there, well, the weekly pivot sits up around about where the 60-minute 500 is. The bigger picture, I'm still bearish on the Aussie dollar. Any retracements of these sort of levels, I'd be looking to sell into. Canadian dollar, everyone's favourite. Canadian dollar continues in the chop. Not a lot more to say on a daily basis. If anything, I mean, it may just come down and retest that weekly pivot there below, but it's very, very choppy lately and pretty untradeable for it as a day trading currency for me. That's pretty much it for me today, apart from telling you what news is coming out. Of course, we got the French and German manufacturing PMI data out at 8:15 and 8:30, and the combined European data at 9. So it's those 8:15, 8:30 data that may give us a more kicker, and may even give us a bit more guidance for the euro for the rest of the day. Particularly if the German data continues out weak, it may certainly pull it back down. We do have some speakers later on. Beyond that time, we've got MPC speaker at 10:15. Not expect to see too much volatility around that so much, but Draghi speaking at 2. Well, he generally repeats what he said at the latest ECB meeting, so he sticks to his lines there. Side of that, though, we've got the 2FM. We've got some flash PMI, manufacturing PMI for the US at 2:45. Maybe a bit of a kicker, but then a couple of speakers at 2:50 and 6 o'clock, both Fed speakers, which they tend to move the markets around a little bit more. So I wish you a great day, and bye for now.